I'm inside of a garage bleeding out. I see blood dumping out of my stomach, pouring out. I ran right out of my shoes. I don't even remember that. This is one of the worst ghettos in Detroit, or even the world. And all I could think about, man, I don't want my girl to get the phone call that my body was found dead, bleeding out in the hood. So I said, I'm gonna live today. My name is Gunnar Allen Lindbloom. At age 14, I was indoctrinated in a life of crime, organized crime, through my uncle and some members of my family.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable.
Nobody knew that. I didn't share with anyone because I was told never share anything outside of the family.
For the record, ain't trying to link no time to waste.
Then we started selling drugs. And I got involved in my own drugs and bad habits and gambling. Eventually, I started doing armed robberies. I started doing bank robberies. At the very end, before I went to prison, I didn't care anymore. I wasn't getting signed off on, meaning I was a maverick. Nobody was giving me permission to do nothing. I was keeping all the money. So the family was like, you know what? We can't help it. 17 capital charges, all of them carried life, and in the end I couldn't beat any of them, so I took a plea agreement, and that put me away for 13 to 50 years. And so at that point the game was over. So I get to prison. It was horrible, as everybody thinks. The worst part is the crazy people. You're in there with the worst of the worst. Level 2s and 4s, where I was my entire 13-year bit, was where you have all the murderers and the rapists and the gangs. The interesting part is I knew I had this gift. I had these stories in my mind. I love reading, which is crazy. So I got to prison. I told myself, I'm not going to be another number. I'm going to walk out of here. I'm going to write these stories. I'm going to write these novels. There was a girl I went to school with. Never knew her, but she said, I work for a publisher. I see that you're a writer. Maybe I could help. She said, I was shocked when I read this book, could not believe how well it was written. She started writing me through letters, and we hadn't talked on a phone at all for a year. On literally 1,000 pages of letters we wrote. But eventually she started to say, I feel more than friends here. We call it the painted line. We can't cross that line. I have 7 years left in prison. You can't fall in love with me. But she did. And I fell in love with her. And one day we just decided, let's get on the phone and talk. And she waited 6 years for me. The day that I got out, she was waiting there for me, and she had a big, beautiful meal for me. And the next day, I married her. We were married. We went to the municipal building. My two friends were the witnesses, and the funny part was the clerk reading the vows, and my wife were pretty much, a little teary-eyed. Me and my boys were like bawling. Then I published this book, To Be a King. And right away, within 72 hours, it cracked the top 100 in the world, peaking at 28. And everybody's saying the same thing. Why is this not a movie yet?